weekend on Sundays, and like where I work, they pay me double of whatever I'm supposed to get on Sundays.
Wow, wow. I can see the smile on your face. The money is good. You have not mentioned there is that money yet. And we are like, welcome back to my channel. I'm in a very great mood today because I have a sister here. She is Nigerian who lives in Ireland, works there as a nurse. She's a fellow YouTuber, and that's her channel name right there, Nurse Goodness. So go find her right here. Pause this video, go find the channel, subscribe, tell her you are from my channel, and share her videos with other people. Ask any questions pertaining to this discussion in the comment section or on her channel, and we would address them at the right time. You know, this channel is an information hub. And let me introduce myself one more time. If this is your first time here, my name is Priscilla Kuma. I'm a registered nurse from Ghana. I live in New York State, work in New York State as an RN, and I bring you nursing migration content. As well, I double as a lead consultant for USRN Pathway Consult, where we help registered nurses, midwives, and psychiatric or mental health nurses who want to work in the USA. With your paperwork, you take NCLEX, you pass, we find you recruiters, and you begin to live your American dream. Yes, so nursing in Ireland. This sister moved from Nigeria to Ireland. She's going to tell us about the process and the challenges and what actually goes into it. We're going to talk about OSCE, what you should know, and any questions, cost of living and everything. So let me just stop talking and let you come on and introduce yourself to my channel, please. Nurse Goodness. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Priscilla. Thank you for the opportunity to be with you today. I appreciate that. Okay, so my name is Goodness Ezifede. Goodness as the first name and Ezifede as the last name. I'm a Nigerian, but currently I'm in Republic of Ireland, practicing as a nurse here. Okay. Yeah, the journey wasn't an easy one, but I will tell you that I have no regrets taking that path. Okay, so yeah, I'm a general nurse and also a mental health nurse by profession. Starting from when I started the journey, well, I wrote IELTS, that's the English test, okay. That was actually 3 times, and I kept having deficiency in one module. Yeah, the last one I wrote, that was the 3rd attempt, and I was able to hit 6.5 in listening, and then 7.57 in other ones, okay. But because of that 6.5, initially I wanted to go to UK because that seems to be the most popular place where
everyone is going.
Of my colleague, everyone wants to go to. So, but because I couldn't go to UK with that 6.5 in listening, so I had to channel my attention to Ireland, okay. Yeah. So that's basically how I started the journey. And then for one to start the journey, you have to go to their portal, their website, sorry, that's the NMBI, my NMBI.ie. Okay, you have to create accounts and then upload all the necessary documents. Okay, but I would advise anybody that wants to start that to first read the user guide. Okay, there's a user guide that will tell you their specification, what they want, how they want it, for the ones that they need to be that needs to be notarized, and the ones that you need to compress, and so many other information there. That's just basically how to start. Okay, when you finish gathering those documents, which includes your transcripts, okay, your employment and later, and some of your credentials. When you gather those things, then you can create their accounts, upload the document, and the last stage of it is to pay for the application fee, which is €350. So that was how I started. But when I started, it wasn't an online thing then. Then it was more of, I personally sent my documents from Nigeria through courier service to Ireland, and then they acknowledged it and they started assessing the documents, and at the point they issued me some query, okay. Because one thing, and I would advise to people that are yet to do that, is they should try as much as possible to submit all the necessary documents. So if not, it's going to delay you, because if they issue you any query, it can take them up to 1 to 3 months for them to get to your turn. So it's important you give them what they want, and then it will go smoothly with you. So I was queried for 1 or 2 things, okay? And when I answered, I responded to the query. And just like within the space of 3 weeks, I got my decision letter. Decision letter is a document they will issue to you when they finish assessing you. Okay, they will now decide on you on what they want you to do before they can issue you PIN. There are some people that after assessing their documents, their credentials, they will issue them PIN straight away without any compensation measures. Okay, whereas some other people, after assessing them, they can ask them to go and write exam to compensate for the deficiencies, and some other people, they might ask them to do adaptation. In my own case, I was given the opportunity to choose between either doing adaptation or writing exam, of which I chose the exam, and I'm happy that I chose that pathway anyways.
Wow, this is detailed. Okay, so from which time or which year did you begin the application? What made you decide that I want to get out of Nigeria? I want to go somewhere. And why did you choose Ireland? And which year did you do your application?
Okay. Oh well. I graduated, ever since I graduated from School of Nursing, it's been in my mind to leave Nigeria for any good country. Okay, because I wouldn't say that life there is that very frustrating, but anyone that is there will confirm that
Yeah.
the salary there is not that encouraging based on what the output, I mean, the professional output. So, and seeing my friends that I graduated with, all of them migrating to different country, but it would be somehow for me to stay back and relax like nothing was happening. So that was actually one of my motivators, seeing people going and then they're doing well over there. Okay. And for the year that I started the process, that was 2020. Yeah, that was when I wrote the exam, and then I started the process 2020, December 2020, and I got my decision letter March of 2021.
Wow, that's 3 months.
Yeah, within 3 months. Yeah.
Wow. So the IELTS score is 6.5 in total. That's what they need.
No. As of then that I did mine, what the minimum requirement for you to come over to Republic of Ireland to practice as a nurse is 6.5, 6.5. Okay, like 6.5, 7. But as of October last year, they changed the basic requirement to 77716.5. But that 16.5 has to be, it's not fixed. It can be in any of the modules you get. So because I got 6.5 in listening, so I was actually good to go then.
Wow. So after getting the decision letter, what was the next stage? And how long did it take to enter Ireland? What was the next stage after the decision letter? After 3 months?
Normally, you might not necessarily wait for decision letter before you start searching for job. But the thing there is that when you search for job, some employers will still get back to you to wait until you get your decision letter, okay? Because they wouldn't want to start with someone that doesn't have the basic requirement. So I usually advise people to wait until they get their decision letter before they can now search for job. So when I got my decision letter, I applied to some agencies, because coming over here is easier when you come with through agency. But if you are financially buoyant to sponsor yourself for accommodation, flight, for exam is 2,800 euro. Okay, to pay for the exam. It's called RCSI exam. If you are financially buoyant to come over for that, that's fine. But for me, I would advise people to go through agency. For me, I went through an agency that brought me over here. I did interview through them for an employer. I was successful, but I had little delay then because it was the time of COVID. They weren't bringing much international nurses. So that was actually my delay. But when that was lifted, I didn't have any much delay again.
Wow. So from that much that you got decision letter, how long did it take you to find an employer?
Well, it wasn't that easy for me because I'm a psych nurse. I'm a mental health nurse. Okay. They were actually looking for people that, because for you to come over and practice psychiatry, that's mental health nursing here, you must have decision letter in psychiatry. Let me explain how this thing works now. Like for me, I'm a registered nurse, and also I am a registered psychiatric nurse. I opted in to register with NMBI, which is the body that controls Nursing and Midwifery Council here in Ireland. I opted in to register as a general nurse as well as psychiatric nurse. Okay. So because I did my general nursing first, they assessed my general nursing document first and issued me decision letter on general nursing until I get the PIN as a general nurse before they can assess that of psychiatric nursing. Do you get?
Yes.
Good. For those that did psychiatric nursing first, before maybe post-basic BSc in general nursing, they will first assess you on that psychiatric mental health nursing first before. So it depends on how your education how your
Had your
education,
education.
yeah, depending on your education progress or process you get, that will determine how they will assess you. So for me, they assessed me on general nursing and I came over here for and then when I was searching for job, it was difficult because most employers will like tell me, okay, you have decision letter in general nursing, but your employment experience, your work experience is more in psych,
Right.
mental health, because I've been working in a mental hospital for over 10 years before coming over here. So I didn't have much experience in general nursing, you get.
Yeah.
So it was difficult for me. But along the line, I was lucky to see a mental health hospital that brought me over through an agency. So I basically did interview. I was successful, and then they applied for my AWS, and I got that. And then I applied for my visa, and then came over here for the OSCE.
Okay. So if I understand you clearly, after they gave you the go ahead for the registered nurse, you had to wait to get another one for the mental health nursing, the decision letter.
Yeah, before now they used to issue the two of them together. Like if you provide them with all the documents, but now they don't do it anymore. Okay, they will tell you to first come over here and get the PIN as registered nurse first before they can further assess you on whichever division you did your post basic or you did your masters on. You have to first come over and get the first division, the PIN for the first division before you can be assessed for the other one. So I came here and got my PIN first as RN, okay, registered nurse, before that of registered psychiatric nurse. Yeah.
So all you need is a decision letter to enter the country. You get the PIN when you are in Ireland. That's when you
Yeah.
get the PIN.
Yes, the PIN will be given to you when you either pass the exam or the adaptation. So adaptation is just like working under a preceptor for a period of 6 weeks. Though it's not all hospitals that does that here. We have accredited hospital, which NMBI will tell you the list. We'll give you the list of accredited hospitals here that does adaptation, you get. So when you come over here, you do the adaptation. That's if you choose to go through that pathway. Otherwise, if you want to go for the exam, you have to still come over here because you can't write it in any other country. It has to be done here. Now, when you come over here, then you write the exam. The exam is divided into two. If it's for UK, you have to write CBT and then go to UK and do your OSCE. But for Ireland, once you get your English requirements, you're not writing any other exam in your country, in whichever country you are. You have to come over to Ireland to finish the process, which is writing the RCSI exam. Now, the RCSI exam is divided into two parts. One is the aptitude test, which looks like that of CBT. It's multiple choice question, 150 questions, and you are meant to pass 75% of it, which is 50% of it, which is 75 questions. You are meant to pass 75 questions for you to proceed to the next level of the assessment of the examination, which is the OSCE. That's the practical aspect of it. Now, the practical aspect of it is the OSCE itself, where you have to do 14 stations. Okay, 14 stations, and you are meant to pass that 14 stations in maximum of 2 sittings. Okay, yeah, maximum. And I've told you earlier on that the price for it as of now is 2,800 euros. Now, when you come over and sit for the 14 stations, and if you happen to pass the 14 stations once, then they will issue you the PIN if you don't have any outstanding case with them. But if you don't pass it at the first attempt, you will still be given the second opportunity, the second chance to go in for the remaining ones that you fail. The stations that you fail, that's what you are going in to repeat. So when you repeat it and pass all of them, then you get your PIN. Okay, then if you repeat it and fail one or two, that second attempt, that is all. You have to go back to your country and start the whole process again. But in some cases, you might be lucky to get an employer that will take you for the position of HCA, healthcare assistant, to get. But it's difficult to come by here. Most people that I know that failed the second attempt went back to their country. If their IELTS is still valid, then they started the process. Otherwise, they will go back and rewrite their IELTS or OET before they can start the process again. And the process is about submitting your transcripts, your all the requirements again. Is the best advice, the best bet is to try as much as possible to pass it on first or second attempt to avoid stories. Yeah.
Yes. So you mentioned that the price is 2,800 euros. So in your case, your employer paid for it. You did not pay for it yourself.
Yeah, 2,800 euro if you are the one paying it. But if his employer that is paying it, I think they subsidize it to 2,500 euro for them. For myself, it was difficult for me then. I told you, it got to a stage where I told myself, I'm going to pay it myself because according to the contract where I'm working is a good place. I won't mention the name. The contract they gave to me that I will pay it myself, but if I pass the exam, they will reimburse me. They actually, I feel that scared because the exam is actually not too easy, but if you meet the right people, is something that the success rate is high when you prepare very well. Okay, so I paid for it myself, and then when I passed the exam, within a month or two, they paid me back everything, both my flight ticket, even relocation allowance, that is up to 1,000 euro. You know, yeah. They pay
Wow.
back everything, yeah.
So you pay the subsidized rate, the 2,500, because that's what they give to the employer?
No, I paid 2,800 euro. I paid 2,800 euro, yeah.
Okay. So do you want to mention like 3 authentic or good employers or agencies out there recruiting from Ireland that people can go and look at, somebody looking for employer?
Some of the agencies that recruit applicants or nurses from different parts of the world to Republic of Ireland, it includes Servisource, OSP, CPL, Adaptive, and Medicare. Yeah, Medicare is another agency too.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
but
what?
for Servisource, I know that some they pay for, like OSP pay for their candidates. Okay. Servisource pay for their candidate. Their candidate, they pay for them too. But the thing is, the issue of payments has to do with employer and not the agency, if you ask me, because it's actually the employer that is paying that money. You get. So, but for agencies like Servisource,
Yeah.
when they pay before they will even pay for you, you have to sign a contract. Like if you fail the exam, you pay them back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I see. This is very detailed, but I like the fact that you only take the English test in your home country and you have to get into the country and take it. And if you're able to make it into the country, you have to move heaven and earth to be able to pass that exam so that you can move forward. You don't have to pay the company back. You don't have to come back to your home country. That would be very heartbreaking. So after you pass, what was the next step? And whilst doing all these 14 stations, did they give you accommodation, like they housed you and kept you there for a while before, after you passed, you had to move on your own? Or how is it like after arriving in the country? What is the expectation?
Okay. It's still the agency issue because the agency will make arrangements for all this for you.
Okay.
That's why I recommend that they should come through an agency. They will help you find accommodation. But at the moment, accommodation is a big issue for especially people coming to Dublin. But for those going to counties like Waterford, Carlow, Tralee, different counties, accommodation is not a big issue. But for Dublin, it's difficult to get. For me, when I came, as I told you, it was still the time of COVID, even though we are still in the time of COVID now. Okay. So my employer made arrangements for they lodged me in a hotel, okay? And I stayed in the hotel for up to like 3 months. And that hotel, as I was told, was sponsored by HSC, okay? health service executive. That's in Ireland here. So I didn't pay anything for the hotel, and I must tell you that I enjoyed every bit of it. I stayed up to 3 to 4 months in the hotel, and I didn't pay anything. Yes. But I don't think that is still I don't think that much privilege is still ongoing.
Oh, after passing the okay, then what next is it? Like what next? You found a job and you had to move, or what?
Already I got a job before coming from my country.
Okay.
Okay. So immediately I passed the OSCE, I got my PIN. Of course, if you pass the OSCE, they will
Yeah.
give you a link for you to pay for the registration, and then they will issue you your PIN. Once you present that PIN to your employer will tell you when to start job, when to start commence your employment. Okay. Okay, I started job few weeks after passing my OSCE, because during my own time I had to wait for critical skill permit, okay, for me to start work. Yeah. But now it's not obtainable. As soon as you pass your exam, you can start work. Yeah.
Okay.
But
So
you can't start work if you don't have PIN.
oh,
Except if you are coming here to do adaptation. Okay. Otherwise, if you choose to come through exam, you must get your PIN before you can start work. There's nothing like pre-registered nursing or pre-registered PIN. No, 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 no.
wow. So I'm sure you have mingled and spoken to a lot of people over time. Those who did adaptation and you who did examination, which one do you highly recommend? The difference?
Well, I would go for exam. Tomorrow I'll still go for exam, and I advise people to go for exam. But the choice is entirely whoever the person is the choice of the person. Is the decision of the person to make whichever choice she or she wants to. But I would recommend that people should go for exam, because I believe that one, it's not time consuming. Like, you can come into the country within the space of 1 week, you get your PIN. Why did I say that? Like, if you come in, you go in for the exam maybe 1 or 2 days, depending on how prepared you are for the exam. That's why it is important that you start preparing even while in your country. Okay. So you go in for the exam. Usually the exam is conducted on weekends. Okay. Saturday, Sunday. And then maybe your on Saturday you do your aptitude test, and then on Sunday you do the OSCE, and on Monday, at most on Tuesday, the result will come out. Then you'll be able to know if you pass or not. If you pass, within a couple of 2, 3, 4 days, they will issue your PIN. You understand? That's how it works. Okay. So because of the time factor there, I would recommend people should go for exam. And I believe with the exam, if you adequately prepare for that exam, you have no reason to fail, because the assessors are actually kind enough. They will prompt you. From my own personal experience, they will prompt you. They quite understand that you might be anxious. Okay, having an exam in a foreign land and meeting strange faces. They know that anxiety will be there, but they are always there to prompt you. But when they're prompting you and they see that you are not getting it right, it obviously means that you didn't prepare for that exam and you might fail. So that's just basically it.
Okay. So in preparing for the exams, what are some of the things you use? Like you watch YouTube videos. So how do you prepare for the Ireland OSCE?
Okay, I personally own a group, okay, even before I came to the Republic of Ireland.
Wow.
I started that group with a few friends that equally wanted to come over then, and we started doing our studies, like, group discussion those days in schools, where we do group discussion. Like every night we hold classes, and the platform is still very, very functional now. Okay, so it helped me a lot in preparation. I also went to their site. It's important when you're preparing for that exam, you should make use of their site, because that is their standard. Okay, there are some recommendations, like in that site. When you check there, you see different topics. Like if you click on their site, rcsi.com, and then you click on the preparatory button, preparation, and then you see list of topics they want you to cover before you come for the exam. In each link, you might see some videos where you need to watch and see how they want you to do it. Okay, as I told you, we have 14 stations, and all the informations you need for the 14 stations are in their site. Okay, so you can also join some classes. Some people run some paid classes, but I don't run any paid class. I have a platform where people that have common goals, where we we meet together. We hold classes every Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And honestly, I must tell you that the success rate has been commendable. Okay. Yeah.
Wow. That's a good initiative. I'm proud of you for doing that.
Thank you.
So after that, where have you worked? Are you still working at the same place? Your first job was in the hospital, care home, or what has your career in Ireland been to date that we do this video?
Okay, I'm still working with the employer that brought me here because I'm under a contract of 2 years, and
2 years.
that is, yeah, 2 years contract. Okay, and I have to finish. Although if I want to leave, I can still leave, but I've got no reason to leave them because they're good.
Okay. So you chose to use your psych to work, not your nursing. The general nurse, you did not use that.
Yeah, because even in Nigeria, I don't think I practiced up to 2 years, or let me just say 2 years as a general nurse.
Okay.
My life has been in a psychiatric hospital, okay, for over 10 to 12 years now. In fact, this is 13 years, if I can remember. I've been in a psych hospital, in a psychiatric home. Okay, so coming over to practice as a general nurse will not be that easy for me. It won't be easy. So that was why I insisted on coming over through a psychiatric hospital, a mental health hospital. Yeah.
Okay. And do you know anyone who is RN and a midwife from Nigeria and practicing midwifery here, or it's not the process is not the
I
same?
know quite a number of them here. They're all in that group, that my group here.
Oh, nice. Yes. So let's talk about money. But before somebody decides to pack up their bag and go to a country, how much am I going to earn? Is it worth it? Can my children come? Can my spouse come? Will they find a job? All these questions are like questions overseas nurses wonder. They ask a lot. Salary wise, how much do they pay, and what is the rank for the nurse over there? The ranking system and the salary.
Okay, for salary, I would say that their salary is not that bad, okay?
Okay.
But the issue is that it's better for those that have good number of years of experience. Like they pay based on your years of experience. Is one of the things that can help augment your salary, okay? If you've got maybe 5 years of experience, definitely you earn higher than someone that has just 2 years of experience. Likewise, if you have maybe up to 20 years of experience, your salary is going to be way bigger than someone who has 5 years of experience. So that's one of the factor that determines your salary. Okay. Another thing is your qualification. Okay. Like for BSc nurses, even though it's not really that much, there's no much difference between BSc nurses and RN, that's diploma nurses. Okay. The main factor that determines your salary here is your years of experience in Republic of Ireland here.
Wow.
So
So
with regards to family
family.
unification, good. Yeah, many people do ask me that question on how easy it is for them to bring their family over. I know that in some countries there are some countries that if you want to leave, you can leave along with your family. You can migrate with your family immediately. But unfortunately, in Republic of Ireland, to the best of my knowledge, you will not be able to come over with your family immediately. You have to come over and then write that exam, the RCSI exam, okay? Or you do the adaptation and get your PIN first, and thereafter get your critical skill permit, okay? And then you get your stamp one, okay? That's when you can apply for your family. And then you still have to, like, it depends on the embassy, the country you are coming from. You have to read their specification, what they want. Like for us, we in Nigeria, we have to provide evidence of bank accounts, at least a bank statements of up to 3 to 6 months, get. And you also have to provide proof of accommodation where your family will have to be, because it's not about bringing them over here. You have to make provision of where they're going to stay. So these are some of the things you need to submit in the embassy for you to get visa. So for coming over with them here, no, even for some of my colleagues from India, Philippines, Zimbabweans, they all came first and then later brought their family.
Okay, at least they get a chance to come later on, so that is good. So any tips, any mistakes you made along the way whilst doing this process that you think that somebody behind you should know the things they should look out for? Any advice to overseas nurses watching this video? What should they know or do?
Oh, well, my advice is when you want to, if you finally decide to come over to Republic of Ireland, I will advise you to go and read the user guide, okay? Because if you make any mistake like date of birth, or if there's any discrepancies in your document, it can delay you, okay? Like they want you to prove to them that those documents you're submitting is authentic. And sometimes they go extra mile to contact your employer, your school. Sometimes it depends on who is assessing you. And that's why they don't accept any email address. They don't accept Gmail address. They don't accept Yahoo Mail as your employer's contact. They prefer official email address, okay? Some assessors, some of my candidates will tell me that they got query from NMBI, asking them to provide official email address of their employer. And some assessor will go as far as writing them to confirm that you are what you are claiming to be. I think they're just trying to, of course, it's a good thing to maintain their standard, yeah. So I will advise anybody that is coming over here to make sure they submit authentic documents, no falsification, if you really want to have your PIN here. And also, if you want to protect your PIN here, you need to be sure that you don't step outside your boundaries. Okay? Yeah.
Okay. So after the contract ends, you are free to go find another job somewhere or remain wherever you are, right?
Yeah, you are free to move. You are free to leave after the contract. Yeah. Nice. But if you want to renew the contract, it's still up to you.
Okay. So accommodation cost, like a normal 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom, I know Dublin capital is going to be expensive. What should they budget for? What's the price range for any accommodation? You can mention and compare the price.
The issue is that getting the accommodation itself is a big deal here. But for accommodation like two-bedroom apartments in Dublin here, one should be budgeting around 2,500. Yeah, it's quite expensive in Dublin. And that's why I see many people do go for shared apartments where they have to share common like kitchen, living room, toilet. Okay. Yeah. For a shared apartment in Dublin, the least you can get is around 700. Yeah, 700 euro per month. And there's a method of, I don't know if it's a common thing over there where you are in other countries, like you have to pay deposit of whichever, whatever it is.
Security deposit.
Yeah, so if it's 700, you're expected to pay 1,400 euros. Yeah. Okay. So for two-bedroom apartments, just budget around 2,500 or 3,000. No, let's say 2,500. Okay. Yeah. So if it's in counties, if it's in counties, you might get it 1,100, 1,200. It's not expensive in counties. Yeah.
So and then for those that can drive, yes.
Good. For those that can drive, even if you don't know how to drive and you are planning to come, I would advise you to learn how to drive there. Although there are some countries that their driving license is not recognized here. Okay. Yeah, because I could remember when I went for my driving school, they told me that my own is not recognized. I'm sorry to say that. Yeah.
Okay.
I came here with a valid driving license and
from Nigeria, right?
From Nigeria, yeah.
It's not accepted. They won't be accepted. You have to go to the test, take the exams, do the practical, drive on the road.
And you have to do 12 lessons if it's not accepted. You have to do 12 lessons, okay? Wow. And for now, each class is around 50 euro. You get, and then you do 12 classes before you can now go for your test. And your test will be from 6 months from the day they issued you the learner's permit. Okay, so I would advise those that want to come over here to make sure at least you know how to drive. It will help you so that you can look for accommodation in counties and then where you can be driving for like maybe 1 hour or maybe 30 minutes, or in some cases 1 hour, 30 minutes from there to office. You'll still save some little cash, at the end of the month.
Okay. So I believe if you live in Dublin, the jobs also pay you high enough to manage or balance the cost of living, right?
Yeah. There's a little token higher than what some other people pay down there in the counties.
Do they pay
You get more shifts when you're in Dublin. Like over time, you
Yeah.
get more shift in Dublin. Yeah.
Okay. So do they pay per hour or is it a fixed amount, monthly payment? This is what you get at the end of the month. Or they do hour calculation like America does it?
They pay per hour. Okay. They pay per hour. But like where I work, they pay us every fortnightly, like that's 2 weeks. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So
And
I also
also there's this night premium. Yeah. Like if you're on night duty, you earn higher. And
yeah.
if you work on weekend on Sundays, you and like where I work, they pay me double of whatever I'm supposed to get on Sundays.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow. I can see the smile on your face. The money is good. You have not mentioned there is that money yet. And we are like, yeah. So you get a shift differential when you work weekends and holidays over here as well, and night duties as well. So if you're
Okay.
somebody who work night duties and you work weekend and it happens to be a holiday, that's good money. And
Yeah.
whatever state someone chooses to live in America here, they all have their cost of living, they all have their minimum wage. And I always advise like living in the suburbs, the counties where you have a lot of greenery and the traffic is less, cost of living is less, but the jobs don't pay well. So it depends on your individual choices. If you want to live in the city and make the good money and
Yeah.
lose some of them in tax, it's all worth it. Thank you very, very much for your time. You shared a lot of detailed information with me. I really, really, really appreciate it. So where can we find you on social media? Your YouTube channel, Instagram, what, Twitter, anything? Please share with us.
You can find me on YouTube with Nurse Goodness. That's my YouTube name, okay?
Okay.
And there I have some information too that I've shared concerning migrating to Republic of Ireland, and also some stations that you might be expecting in your SSI exam. But because of the GDPR here, I will not be able to say everything. That's the data protection, because there are some things that you might be
Yeah.
held responsible
Yeah.
for. So you can reach me through YouTube channel Nurse Goodness, and also in Facebook Nkem Goodness.
Oh, thank you very much. You are in my Telegram group. I asked anybody who wants to share an experience and you volunteered, and here we are. So you watching, if you haven't joined my Telegram group yet, there's an opportunity out there. People share information from all over the world. There's a Facebook page for my consult, USRN Pathway Consult. There's a Facebook group. Find yourself in all of this. We'll leave all the links that Nurse Goodness mentioned. We'll leave all those links in the description box. Do click on the links and go and start your process. You've been trying to leave your home country for now. The pay is not good. Every day you have to improvise. There are no materials to work with, and you think you deserve better. People have done it. Starting is the hardest part, how to start the process. But as soon as you get going, align yourself with like-minded people. Do not give up. You need determination. You need to speak to the right people. Not everybody wants to study abroad. People are comfortable with where they are. But if you're not comfortable where you are, strive to get out. Any last words? Sign off on the channel for me.
Yeah, thank you, Priscilla. Thank you for all you do. Like, I've gone through your YouTube channel and I see that you're really committed in this, and I'm sure you are saving lives. You might not know the number of lives you've saved, you've helped to achieve their dream. Is a good thing. And I'm happy that I'm also in the process, and I know that with your help and with the help of some other people, we will all achieve there. What matters is helping our professional colleagues to live up to their expectations.
Yes, we'll have to support each other on this journey. We find ourselves somewhere because we're destined to be there. And
Yeah.
what's the point if you have the information and you're sitting on it and not sharing? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not easy, but we try to bring information to us. So subscribe to Nurse Goodness channel, subscribe to my channel, share this video with somebody. You never know, a friend, loved one might be interested in working in Ireland. Or if you want to come to USA, find me at my consult as well. Thank you and bye-bye.